Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a behind the scenes video for Mafia V2. The video's, it's 6:35 p.m. right now on the day of release, so it's been out for like 3.5 hours. I am so unbelievably happy with this video. There's a couple typos that I couldn't re-render in time to have the video out on time. Like the score at the very end, it said 4 for me, but it's actually, I'm supposed to have 3. I put that in the description, but probably no one's gonna look there. But yeah, there's a few things like that, but overall this video is my best work, my best editing, I think the best idea. We refined the idea a lot since version 1, and version 3, if we do a version 3, is going to be even more refined because we've come up with some more ideas just to make the game more fun, more enjoyable, and better. More fair, you know, things like that. So I'm super excited to show you this behind the scenes video. This one might be a bit long. I have water so I don't die like a few times, a few videos ago. And also, if you're watching this, welcome to the Deck Plus channel. This is where I try to post weekly, just random Bedwars stuff and just playing and having fun. But I've also re-publicized all of my previous behind the scenes videos if you'd like to go and watch those, since I'm not doing Patreon right now, and I privated those for Patreon. Yeah, we'll just go with that. So without further ado, let's just hop into the timeline. There is the timeline for you. I forgot to turn on my, dang it. Okay, I have my cursor thing now, so you can see what I'm doing. This is the timeline. All of the things that are over here are not a part of the timeline. That'll be for a funny moments video that I will be doing here on the Deck Plus channel as well. Actually, that will probably be out by the time that you're seeing this, since I think I'm going to be posting them at the exact same time. So if you'd like to go see that, feel free to go do so. But this is the absolute monster of the timeline. This thing is a freaking beast. We have 15 audio tracks. Of course, some are not being used a whole lot. As you can see, the 15th one really just has nothing down here. It has 4 tracks. But you know, 1 and 2 was all manual work, and then 3 through 14 for the POVs were all the POV audio that I had to do and stuff. Up here, the colored things, we had 20 video tracks, by the way. So 15 through 20 is all the subtitles. So all of these are the subtitles right there. This whole entire blue line on V9 is all of the POVIs, or the POV indicators that you see, and then a bunch of this stuff is the transitioning effects from one, you know, like a game to a discussion, or a discussion to voting, or voting to game. That's kind of scattered around here as well, and there's some more I think that you can see down below as well, so like here as well. But yeah, this is the timeline, and this is, of course, it looks like a lot of work. It looks like it's super complicated, and I will be straightforward with you that I would call this a bit more complicated than usual. However, I still don't think it's that complicated, and I think if you put your mind to it, you can be able to do something like this. It's all about, for me, how I edited this was I want to think of smoothness. You know, I want to think of how can I make this video an experience where the viewer feels like they're smoothly being transported into the realm of Mafia, right? So I want you to be immersed. And then also, how do I transfer you from a game to a discussion and make you feel that intense moment of a discussion or the intense moment of voting and hearing and seeing us react to who the Mafia is. So that's how I edited this, and I wanted the edits to portray all of those feelings, and so that is what I tried to go for. So we'll start off here with the intro. This right here is the intro up until this blue marker. Is the 1 minute intro. This is the longest intro I've done in a very, very, very long time. These here are subtitles that I was originally going to implement throughout the entirety of the intro, but I didn't like them and no one else did. So there you go. we didn't implement them. So there's that. But this is the entirety of the intro. So you can see there's a bunch of these little things are just effects, sound effects. And yeah, let's just hop into the video because, frankly, I haven't looked at this portion of the video in a bit. And there are some things that go on here. So let's go check them out. Let me bring these down first, though. There we go. So I can see them. Okay. So let's check this out. Right here at the intro, my face cam is blocking that. I am so sorry. We'll just throw myself up there. Okay. So right here at the intro, all of this stuff is replay mod shots. I wanted to portray like a quick intro. I know it's a minute long, but I wanted the person to feel like they're in it instantly. What I've been doing with my shorts recently on the main channel, if you haven't noticed, is I'm doing like replay mod shots where I start really wide and I quickly zoom in and then I halt. That's exactly what I did here. When I first tried editing this intro like a month ago, I wanted to do that and I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. Finally, I figured it out subconsciously because I figured it out for the shorts. It was super easy. And so I just transported that over here. So So I just started out really wide in this Bedwars, as you can see, and then I slowed down. And then you can see a team right here, because I'm saying in this Bedwars game, what do I say exactly? This Bedwars game, no one can be trusted. It's going to lag a bit here because there's just a lot going on. These are just black bars. They're presets that I made in Fusion, which if you want to know, it's literally, you have a backgrounds and a transform to bring it up. And then I think this is for the bottom one. I don't know why. I don't know why I have to. But you really only need that right there. And then that'll give you this top one. And then that one for the bottom one. You just gotta do it that way. Super easy to do that. But those black bars really just, like, when they kind of fade in, no one, right? Like that, they just come in. It makes it feel so much cooler, in my opinion. This is something that I have never done before. Masking. You'd be surprised. Like, dang, your edits are pretty good. You've never done masking before up until this point? You'd be correct. I learned how to mask for this video. So if you go into color tab, actually, and you go over to this little person right here, this is your masking area. This is the manual masking area. So you can, with like the little crosshair and stuff like that. So if I wanted to manually mask, no, sorry, it's the next one. It's this one, the oval. So if I wanted to manually mask, I could use any of these shapes to do that. The feather tool would be the best. So if I wanted to mask from here to here to here and then back, great, there's a mask. Of course, I'm not going to do that. I use Magic Mask because Magic Mask is in the studio version of DaVinci, which is what I have. And basically I told right here at the very beginning of the shot, which I know you won't really be able to see it. There it is. So I drew these blue lines. Of course, the glitch effect was not here at this time, but I drew the blue lines over top Kyle and Peyton, who were very ecstatic to be in this, I think. But I just drew lines over them, and then it created this effect where they just were masked. And so now I could go into the color page and I could go here and I could completely, you know, change whatever I wanted about the mask, which was pretty cool. So I did that. And then all for this shot that I did is literally I reversed it. So I had to do a mask on me. And then instead of masking me, I masked everything else that was not masked, if that made sense. So Let me see if I can go in and show you. Yeah, I masked myself, and then I hit this button right here. So if I hit it, which of course reverted it, but that was what it originally looked like, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's the first few seconds, and then we just have a few subtitles right there because I didn't know what else to do. I've noticed Prince Zam and some Lifesteal people do like UCX all the time, like all the time. So I'm just like, okay, I'll just give it a try. Why not? Simple replay mod stuff here. I did the effect again for the masking, and these are just free sound effects. These are free, like, glitchy things. I wanted the Mafia to have like a Matrix kind of feel, so whenever I talked about the Mafia, I would glitch in and glitch out. So that's why there's a bunch of glitch effects around here, and the sound effects as well. Here is the Mafia scene, which is super cool. This was just color graded to have a lot of red. I bumped the red up a lot in that as well. Added in the text of Mafia, and the font is Beauty Glitch Demo, which was the font that Luke used in the the thumbnail for the video. I asked him for it. He gave it to me. It was pretty cool. All I did to get this little shake effect, so I went with a lot of shake transitions as well, just because I kind of like them, and they fit the vibe that I was going for, especially with this song Reanimation by Dylan Sitz. I think it's a fantastic song. Definitely like unorthodox for this kind of style, but I liked it. So all I did for this was I just took everything that I had here, put it into a compound clip, and then I added a camera shake from the beginning, or not the beginning, almost the beginning. I keyframed the motion scale to 0, had everything else set, like the speed and the motion blur and the PTR speed. If you want your camera shake to be really fast and really confined and have a lot of motion blur, those are the only three things that you need to change. I don't mess with any of this stuff except for speed scale. I bump it all the way up to like 1.8, 1.9. Motion blur, I bump it mostly up, and PTR, I bump it mostly up as well. And that'll get you that effect of like really shaking but staying in a confined area, as long as your motion scale is down as well. So I keyframed it from 0 to 0.6. That's actually a lot. A lot of the other shake transitions I was doing 0.3 or 0.5. And then to finish out the transition, I did the exact same thing on this clip. I keyframed it from 0.6 down to 0 so that it had the shake transition. Super cool. And just like a custom effect that you can do. This was just simple tracking here. I added a zoom in so that it looked like it came out of the fire, tracking it around the, dang, I can't really show you, but tracking it around those 4 slabs where the corners are, which I thought was pretty cool. And then this part was interesting. I had to keyframe I wanted the old thumbnail to come up like saying, you know, I did this a year ago and we're going to do it again, right? I wanted the thumbnail to come out of the fire. So I had to keyframe. Nearly a year. You can see it only comes up at the fire, or at the slab, right? So I had to keyframe that cropping movement, which was not bad. It is a bit of manual work, but all I had to do, you just keyframe the Y movement from one end to the other to where you want it to stop. And then you'll click this little button right here on your clip, and we can go to position Y. So this is the graph for your movement. So if I wanted to, this is where you can do ease ins and ease outs, by the way. I know a lot of people don't know this actually, but this is how you do it. You can click on these little dots will appear, and you can do whatever. So if I wanted it to be something like that, nearly a year since my last time, then you can do that. Of course, I wanted it to be faster at the beginning and slower at the end, so I only did an ease in, which I did that by grabbing this dot and putting it just barely above the red one. I know it's a bit hard to see there, but that made it super fast at the beginning and then it slowed down instead of from 0 fading into speed and then fading out of speed. That's how I got that effect right there. I did the same thing with the rules thing right there. Oh, and by the way, you had to crop it as well. So I did manual cropping on each keyframe crop bottom, yeah, you can see each keyframe has a different one so that it matches the ease in effect from the position Y. So that way it looks like it's coming out of the slab or the fire. And then once it's past that, then you're good to go. But yeah, it's a super cool effect, and I do like it as well. This part. Oh boy. This part took like 3 hours. I'm not kidding. Just to come up with the idea to do this and the way, it took me like 20 minutes to think like, how do I want to do this? I'm so glad with how this part turned out because I think this one was huge. So I first up started off with a background I1, background intro 1 is what I called it. And it's a compound clip. It's got this little background thing in it that I used for the Dream video. Actually, right, the opening scene is this background, and I think Death Crane gave it to me in the CS server, which was fantastic. Figured why not use it again. And then these are just a bunch of question marks. MSP Gothic regular. I didn't like the Lexan one because it just looked a little weird. I know. Yeah, it's that right one, the far right. I didn't really like that one. I liked that one because it looks more of like a mysterious question mark and not like a fun one. So I did that one and then just cut them off whenever they would be covered just for computer's sake. But these appeared, right? So you could see there's going to be 6 slots that are about to be taken up. And then we have the cast... Cast 1 is what I called this one because this is the first time that I used the cast scene. So if I open the timeline, that's what that looks like. And it looks like a bunch. It's not a whole lot. It was a bit, but not a whole lot. So I wanted all of them to fade up. I wanted to, right? And so I did that with, these are just 6 different replay mod files that are just the character sitting there. And I cropped them in Fusion. So this one will be for SoPro. If I go into Fusion, I added in a rectangle mask, and this rectangle mask is for all of them. I just made one and copied it, but I had to tweak it to where this was 1/6 of the screen. So I made a rectangle mask, fit it around him and how I wanted it to, copied it, and put it on all of them, which is super cool. And then all of these texts and Fusion compositions are all of the titles. So this one is mine. It's simply a glitch effect with the bug-fast font that I found on Dafont. If you don't know about Dafont, go check it out. It's really, really useful. This one is Granted's. I had no idea what to do for his, so I just slapped the Mr. Beast one on his, which I had no idea that it was Mr. Beast until I already rendered it. I believe that's the Mr. Beast font. So if you're wondering what it is, it's Comica Axis. There you go. And then I just did a simple push down. Smart Strikes was much more interesting, and his is my favorite. He said he also thought it was very hot, which was cool. But this is Smart Strikes. So I had to actually cut it in half. And then this fusion composition is like a sword strike. That's what or like a sword slash. That's kind of the idea that I went for. So here in Fusion, the sword slash is a background. It's just a white background, and then I used a rectangle mask, which is right here, to cut it down to what that is. Yep. And then I added a bit of corner radius to get the rounded corners on the very edges, and then I angled it at -25 degrees to get like a kind of diagonal type thing. I also added a glow node. So if you're on Windows, I don't know what it is for Mac, but if you're on Windows, you can press Control Space, and it'll bring up this window where you can select any tool that you want. So if you type in glow, it'll be this second one is that glow, and then you can just adjust everything like the spread of it. You can adjust the gain, the gamma, the saturation, which the saturation is good for color. You can also set the color of the glow, but the gamma and the gain is definitely the most important. So I keyframed the gain, which you will not be able to see this because it's on my second monitor, but I keyframed the gain to, since I wanted it to come from top to bottom, I keyframed that using, I did not use that. I just used cropping in the edit page. Yeah, I did. So I cropped the bottom. So from there, so from 967 at the very beginning, I wanted it to come in pretty fast with the sound effect, and then it went down to 0 within a matter of 0.05 seconds. And within that time, I keyframed the glow to come in as well, since I didn't want the glow there immediately. Because the crop, if I had the glow there the entire time, right? So if I crop this, you can see the glow being cut off. That's why I wanted the glow to fade in, so that it wouldn't look cut off. It's those simple effects that really make it a massive difference, in my opinion. So that was that one. And then with the Smart Strike words, I wanted it to be like the slash was almost like cutting it. That was the whole idea, pretty much. So on DeFont, I used Dash Horizon. That one looked really cool. And then here in Fusion, I added a rectangle mask at -25 degrees angle to fit the slash. And then I just cropped it at a point that I wanted the words to be cut off. And then here in edit, I could just use the X and Y to figure it out. So that's what I ended up with right there for both of them. Really, really cool. I love how that one turned out. Caleb is Salty is a simple write-on effect, which is right here on the Text Plus node. If you don't know where that is, you can just keyframe it and it'll write it on for you. Super cool. This Lords was pretty cool as well. I wanted Lord to be... I went with the word Lord instead of ownage, because that one, if I did ownage, like, what does that mean? Getting owned? I don't know how to animate that. So I did Lord, so I went with like a Celtic kind of font called Enchanted Land. Great font. And I added this little halo kind of thing to make it seem as if he's ascending from the heavens like a lord. That's kind of the idea that I went for. Really cool. And then Sopra was just a simple pop-up effect because I know that he likes those. So that's the whole cast right there. So it took me a bit to figure it out, but once I did, it looks super cool as it's all animated, although I can't really play it because my computer will die. And then added this effect. I think that really just added a really good emphasis on the word however, because there is a twist. And then here, when you see that Lord goes into that like dark mode thing, it's the same exact masking process as I did in the first few clips in the intro. And I also changed the font and the halo as well. So the font color is the same, but then you have Lord Ownage in a different font. I think it's called like Ghastly Pain or something. And then I changed the white up top to a red, which was pretty cool. I think I also added something. Yeah, I added this Fusion comp, which was super interesting. Took a little time to figure out, but what I did here was I took a background node and made it red. I actually made it a gradient of red, which was cool. Added the same rectangle node as I did on all of the player shots, since I wanted it to be the exact same size. And then here, although I had to change it, since if I didn't have this, it would look like that. And at normally, it would look like this. I definitely didn't want it to be like that. So if you uncheck solid right here, then this will actually just be 0. You'll get something like this. So now you won't see anything, but the mask is there. If you increase your border width, which is a new option when you unclick solid, I did 0.005. That gives you just a very thin line on the edge of the mask, which is super cool. And then you have position and length. If you mess around with these, you can keyframe it to where you can do the effect that you saw in the video. I have no idea how I'm going to be able to show this, but on my second monitor, what is it called? That's right, it's called Spline. So if you open up Spline on your monitor or whatever, you might see it up here or something like that, but it's up there on my second monitor. It's the exact same keyframe thing that you see here that I showed you earlier. It's just that it's on like a bigger graph, and then you can do the exact same keyframe. So I did an ease in and out to make it look super smooth. like that. So yeah, I like how that turned out. And you see it that it's not properly cropped right there. It's because I had a shake transition, so I had to crop it a bit differently. This one was cool. Added another shake transition, and I keyframed the word "the game" being thrown into the void because I thought that would be funny, and I think it was funny. It also got the point across. You know, you're trying to throw the game, and I thought that was pretty cool. And that one's just a simple replay mod shot. Then you have the cast again, and I did the exact same thing as I did with the redlining on Lord Onage's player. It's just that I did it with a green gradient, and I did it around all of the other players to symbolize that they're the good people in this. This shot was another simple replay mod shot, and it's the Minecraft bold font with victory, trying to symbolize, you know, you're trying to win, and this is what it looks like when you do win in Bed Wars. You also have the glow effect on here as well. The glow effect, I've been playing around with it recently. It is an underrated tool. If you want to just accentuate something just a little bit, if you add a glow, oh my gosh, it's so good. So I love that. I love that shot right there. All of these are the exact same thing. This text was keyframed around the chest closing when it came on, and I also keyframed a glow there since for some reasons pushes on a glowing element. So for this one, a glowing text plus node, it would completely glitch out the screen and it would render like that. So I had to keyframe the glow out, but it does look pretty cool. And then what is this? That's right. These are just simple text nodes. And then these are replay mod shots of the previous clips where you're trying to throw the game and evade the votes. All I did here was I went into the color page and made them monochrome. And then there's a new thing in DaVinci. I forget what the version is, but it's been fairly new. And it's called the... Dang. It's not there. Hold on. Oh, no, it is. It's called the Paper Edge. This is a brand new effect that is in the filters, Open Effects Filters tab on your effects list. I'm not sure if this is a studio thing. I think it's free. But basically, this adds a paper edge around whatever you want it to. So if you see there on the evades vote section, it looks like it has a paper edge. But if you turn down this edge contrast, now it's super smooth. Pretty much all it does is it automatically puts in a border around anything that you want it to. I don't know how customizable it is. I've just literally slapped it on there and didn't care, but that's what it is. The only kind of discrepancy with it is that you have to use a transform node to be able to move it, because if I got rid of this, right, and I put it in the center and I wanted to move it like so, do you see how the paper edge kind of gets a little wonky now? I don't know why it does that. I guess it's part of the effect if I were to play around with it better. But if you use the transform node, you can completely bypass that. And that's how you get pretty much a free white border around anything, which is awesome. Another glow node right there. This is another kind of pop-up effect with the fire. It's keyframing pretty much. That was just a bunch of text nodes. And this was cool. I had to go in and mask, I believe it was actually the top one. Yeah, it is this one. So I had to go in and mask Caleb, because in the example, he won the whole entire game. So, but I had to go in and manually mask him. I didn't do the magic mask this time because it's not as accurate. I used the magic mask for the Mafia so that it kind of looked a little wonky and a little weird. But for this one, I wanted it to be perfect since this was a more still, clear shot. So I masked around him. I added a glow, which I don't know why it's... There it is. I added a glow right there. It's just like a yellow sphere mask. right? Or ellipse mask, and then I added a glow on it, and that's how you get that glow effect. And then you put the Caleb mask over it, and there you go. Super cool. Okay, that is the whole intro. Wow, that's been 30 minutes. I am so sorry for anyone that... yeah, dang, I'm sorry. This is a long video, and it's... Yeah, we're probably not even halfway done, to be honest, but... So that's the intro. I absolutely love how it turned out. Couldn't stop watching it. It was super cool. So here is the game, the intro to the game. So all I did here was, I'm going to do that so it doesn't kill my PC. I found this like DJ scratch effect. Thought it was cool because I went for the Madverse City. Bow, 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 bow. That's the song that I went for, so I wanted it to have some sort of, you know, kind of groove to it, some sass. And I also just had no idea how to transition out of this, so that's why I did that. Also added a bass drop sound effect, which I really hate that sound effect, but I still have yet to find a better one. And a pop-up sound effect for all of these things that are popping up. Added this little white thing to really bring it in from black into color. And these are all of the elements. So let's go through these real quick. This is the replay mod shot in the back. It's at 75% opacity so that you can see the team glow. And the team glow is the next one. It is the 2 bars on the side for the red and the green. All I did here was I took a background node in Fusion, added a glow onto it, put it off screen, and had only the glow on the screen. And then did that for both. Boom, there you go. These are text nodes for Game 1 and Versus, and the effects on them are lens distortion and prism blur. Prism blur is a free, is in the free version of DaVinci, but the lens distortion is unfortunately not. But lens distortion looks sick. You don't have to use it. This is kind of my style of text, just because I like it. But lens distortion is not. It's only in the studio version. And then we have the R1 names. The R1 names use the Minecraft regular font, and I colored it in a way that looks very similar to Hypixel, since that was kind of the goal. So if I want to go take a look at Caleb's name, because why not? You may be wondering, how did you get the same or 2 different colors in the same text node? Well, this is something I found out a few months ago thanks to Wampus. I love my boy Wampus. He's super cool and does a bunch of DaVinci tricks and tips and things like that. He did do an update video recently, so I don't know if he's leaving that, but he used to. It's fantastic. So all you got to do, once you go into Fusion with that text plus node, right, you right click here in the text box and hit character level styling. And what that'll do is that'll open up the modifiers tab for you. So you hit the modifiers tab, and yeah, this is what it'll, sorry, I got confused. This is what it will look like when you hit the modifiers tab. So if you go here and I want to color white, the word Y and T yellow, for example. So I will just click and drag over that. And so now I can change the color to yellow for just those 2. Super freaking cool. So I made the whole entire text plus node red and then just made those 2 white, which was super cool. This is a Fusion composition. Just it's a black background that's cropped, and I think the opacity is on 50 so that you can kind of see the map behind it, but it's like a scoreboard type thing. These are the score heads is what I called them. It's just everyone's head, and then they have the same mask on them. And then these are the numbers. It's another compound clip. These are all of the numbers for the score right there. It's fairly simple. The team glow might take a little bit of time, and then R1 names might take a little bit as well, but it was super simple to make it, and I love the effect that it gives because it looks super cool. And this thing as well, this middle text plus node as well, this is the ... text node, and I used the write-on like I did with the Caleb is salty text as well, so that it looked like it was loading. I have an animation from a while ago where it's like literally a loading bar, and it looks cool, but it didn't look very cool in this situation. So I instead went for like a ... kind of more compact, but it is still loading, which I like that effect as well. And then you can just copy paste it. And then to get that, get the glitch effect on the whole entire thing, all you got to do is just cut it and put it into a compound clip and then go straight into that. And now we're in the gameplay. So this is just the gameplay right here. Up here is the subtitles. We'll go through the subtitles first, since this will be pretty easy. All it is a text plus node. And then if you go into title, shading, you'll see a bunch of these elements here at the top. So I have 1, 2, and 3 enabled. The first one is the white solid fill. That's the name, which is pretty much the color of the text. The second one is called a red outline. It's pretty much just the outline of the text. And you can enable these to turn them on, and then you can adjust all these settings as well. And then the third one is a black shadow. It's a drop shadow. But if you go to the first one, if you select the first element, and then you go down here to type under properties, you can go to type. So if I hit on solid, it'll just be white. It'll look white. But if I go to gradient, now you can add a gradient color. And something that Haig taught me about coloring is going from a darker to a lighter of the same color within a gradient looks super cool. And that's what I did here. So this darker one, if you click on this arrow, you can go click here and you can change the color to whatever you want. So I chose a really dark orange, which is my color. And then if you click on this arrow over here, you can click this and then choose a lighter version. So then it has a very slight gradient, but it makes it so much cooler, in my opinion. Like, I really notice it in the video, and it just gives it like such a professional vibe. And you can also move these arrows if you want to bring that gradient color in more, so that it's a faster gradient, or you can just have it across the whole entire element. So that's how I did the gradients, and of course I colored them for everyone, but that's mine. And here is the POV indicator. This one, I gotta thank my boy Symbol, his name's Alec, for this, because he actually helped me refine this. Not in editing, but the idea. So I originally, this is the POV indicator for everyone. So if I'll play it a little bit, it doesn't look like anything's changing, but these are actually just red dots. And you can kind of see it up here. If you see my mouse down there, you can see like a red dot come on and off. And that's just a little something that I did. I like to have those hidden gems in the video. And that's just like pretty much a live indicator, like a red dot, like it's recording. I really like that. This text plus node is obviously my deck POV text. This is my skin with a mask, and then it's got a rounded curve. And then down here, this bottom fusion composition is the entirety of the border. So originally I had only this. That's all I had. And it looks good. That is what I've used for a while, actually since my Island Hardcore episode 1 video. That's what I used. That's when I made this template. And I do like it, but now I have something that looks a little bit like this. And the difference between these is that, as you can see, there's a border around the whole entire screen now. So instead of only you have to look in a certain position or look to a certain area to see whose POV it is, and since I'm switching POVs a lot, it's hard to know. So Alex said, hey, you should add a border around the whole thing so that the entirety of your peripheral vision will see the color, and once you start to watch the video, you'll know who is who. And so now you don't even need to look up there. It's just peripheral vision work, and it's sometimes even subconscious. So that's what this is. It's a background node with a rectangle mask, and all I had to do was just do a little bit of gradient work to get it to where it is, but that's what it looks like. And I did that for all of the colors, or all of the people involved, and it looks so good. So that was a massive upgrade for this video, and I'm very, very happy about that. So I did that for everyone. Like, this is Lord, Sopro. Sopro's was my favorite. I don't know why I'm getting into purple and pink recently. Granted was red, which was super cool. And as you can see here, these are titled Lord Day, Sopro Day, Deck Day, Granted Day. So you might be like, oh, is there a night version? There sure is. Let me enable that again. So let's go. This is literally all gameplay. Once you line up your gameplay, as long as you keep it in the same spot, then you can just cut back and forth in between. And all I did here is I did all the cutting, and then I went back to the beginning of the game after I finished the cutting of the game and just added all of the compound clips. These are all presets. I made all of these presets before I even finished the intro, which helped the editing process go by a lot faster. So I'll show you the night versions real quick. This is like Smart Strike Night. All I did was I pretty much just made it darker. So like for his POV, it was great because he actually was on, he changed it to night, which was fantastic. And I wish everyone else did that. I wish I did that. And in fact, I thought about this because I actually did that for version 1, but I wasn't able to do it because Fulbright was bugged for no freaking reason. So there's that. But yeah, it looks great. So Lord is like a darker mustard color. Granted is a dark blue. Sopro's a dark purple. I'm a dark orange, kind of brown rust color. Caleb is a darker light blue. Yeah, that was the idea, which I like. So I'm definitely going to use that again. It gives it a little bit more variety, if you know what I mean. So now once we're done with the gameplay, I'm backtracking a little bit. I just added a shake transition. So I made this into a compound clip. Or not even a compound clip. I think I just added a camera shake. Did a camera shake on this one, as well as the text plus node, and then just faded these names up since they were the winners. And then this same shot, what did I do? Yeah, I just keyframed that coming out of the fire, and then coming into view a bit better. And then of course we have the, I'll start it off.
Why?
The timer ticking down as well, since there is a timer on there, and I just changed that by just cutting the text node and adding it a bit differently. Is there anything else of like insane importance? Yeah, here we go. So this is another text thing.
I'm just gonna put a name in the
another
book.
time.
Timer's up.
I just pushed up the text. This is a fusion composition. It's a white background with a rectangle node, and it's a keyframed crop right. Boom. That's all that is. That was Sopro's idea. Thank you. This is just more text work. Nothing super important. More text work. And then we're in game 2. That's literally it. Now, it did take ages to do all this. And of course, the first one was the longest. Actually, the second one was the longest because it was like a 4-minute game almost. But do that for 4 times, and there you go. You have a 4-game video. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that was super cool that I did. I really don't think so. Like, most of these videos are just me going over the intro. That's literally it. I will show you actually. Yeah, this was really funny.
Honestly, first day that I had it, it was kind of crazy. Like, it was kind of surreal.
That text node is just keyframing the rotation angle and also using these little bars just to fade it out super quickly. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. I really like that part. Yeah, so let's go to the outro since I don't think there's anything else that's of too much importance.
The majority.
Oh, so was somebody on the winning
Fading of the music. And there you have it. Once all the points were added up, Smart Strike with 6 points. So I messed this up. I meant to. That's the right score, and I didn't do it. So in my funny moments video, I'll talk about this more, but the score, we almost completely fumbled this whole entire video with this. So I'll talk about that more in the funny moments video, which you should go watch right after this. This was just a keyframe. I did another mask on Smart Strike and added in his little text animation as well. And then this is another thing, just 2 text nodes. This compound clip is a bunch of best overlays from It's Yumi, I think, Bedwars YouTuber. But I just used that because why not? So, and there you go. Oh, I will go over this actually, since this was, some people don't know how to do EQ work. This is transition. kind of gets into that deep, watery kind of sound because it sounds like you're underwater because a lot of the treble's gone. If you open up audio, go to equalizer, you can hit band 4, and that will be an automatic, like it's a clipper. I believe it's called a clipper. And so you can just move this to wherever you want it to be. So I had it there. You can do the same for bass as well. I didn't use 2 or 3, but then that means this is only going to be heard. All of this won't be heard. And so it gives you that kind of watery effect. And then, you know, I faded it out. You can use this thing to control the rate of the fade out. So yeah, that's it. That's the whole video. That I went through 16 minutes pretty fast. That first minute was a bit, but I do hope you enjoyed this video. This was like so much fun to record, honestly. I had a blast doing this. Everyone that was involved made this possible, and the editing is by far my best. It's a lot of simple work. The gameplay is a simple work. It looks like a lot, but it's really not. A lot of it's the POVs. So I bet most of you watching this could do this with the right amount of dedication and things like that. So keep going strong, keep learning how to edit, keep doing all the things. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.